What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It has already been 1 month into the college basketball season. Wow, can't believe it. Heading into week 5 of it in general. And I got some notes from the last week overall. I'm going to try to do more of this stuff, more of like the main notes, like talking about big wins, big upsets, and all that. I'm going to get to that first really quickly for you folks. One thing I do want to mention, Keontae Johnson of Florida out of the hospital. He was released today. Great news. Prayers have been answered. Hopefully, he continues to do well and continues that great recovery. Let's rewind back in time to last Wednesday. Purdue upsetted Ohio State 67-60. Ohio State. I have not mentioned this over the course of the last few videos. Ohio State, of course, been dealing with injuries, trying to get healthier. They did get EJ Liddell back recently. We'll talk more on that in just a moment. But UTEP upset Arizona State. Not only defeated them, they shut them down 76-63. Arizona State not really looking like a good team right now. Kind of surprising there. But Thursday, Kansas defeats Texas Tech in a slugfest 58-57. Kansas had more turnovers, but they shot better overall. Texas Tech's three-point shooting is atrocious at times. They need to get better in that department. Otherwise, I'm not saying rely your game on the three, but if you have to resort to it at times, you want to be able to at least make something out of it. My goodness. Seton Hall defeated Marquette 70-63. Marquette had more turnovers. St. Louis defeated North Carolina State 80-69. I got more updated news on North Carolina State in just a moment. They just got done facing UNC just not too long ago. That game just wrapped up. Friday, West Virginia avoids a scare against Iowa State. They only won by 5. BYU upsets San Diego State 72-62. Matt Mitchell, San Diego State at 35 points, but still did not rally the team. BYU out-rebounded them, and they had better free throw shooting percentage. San Diego State just did not do very well in that game. Saturday, Gonzaga defeated Iowa 99-88 in what was a very anticipated game. Iowa from the three-point line was atrocious. Only 18% of your threes were made. I think they went 4 of 22. Gonzaga made half their threes. Gonzaga even out-rebounded Iowa. That's a surprise because Luka Garza can really get in that perimeter, or should I say in the paint, be overall a perimeter, just be a physical player. I mean, Jordan Bohannon, who we know can shoot the three very well, he was basically shut down in that game. He didn't score very much. Wisconsin just destroyed Louisville. Louisville is not 100% anyway. Carlik Jones, who is their leading scorer, was out of the game. This was Louisville's first game since December 1st. I'm not giving Wisconsin a lot of credit. They beat a weak Louisville team anyway. Louisville had not played in a couple of weeks. They're kind of rusty a little bit. Wisconsin, I'm not, like I said, high up on them right now still. Not really on that train. UCF makes an upset over Florida State, 86-74. Florida State, one of their biggest problems is the free throw line. They were only 61.5% to UCF's nearly 90% from the free throw line. Also, UCF out-rebounded Florida State. Florida State just had absolutely nothing to offer in this game. A bad loss. UCF, I don't know. That was kind of a bad loss for Florida State. Purdue beat Notre Dame 88-78. Notre Dame's been showing some stuff here and there. They almost beat Ohio State. They've been kind of toughing out. Ohio State defeated UCLA. EJ Liddell came back for this game. UCLA. What's going on with this team? They just do not look like they're together. Sunday, Northwestern makes a huge upset. Arguably the biggest upset of the last 6 days. Michigan State, 79-65. Michigan State couldn't shoot very well. They just were nowhere in this game, it seemed like. Creighton beats UConn in a tough game in overtime. Evenly matched game. Creighton played just a little bit better in the end. Rutgers beats Illinois in a high-scoring affair. Illinois shot 60% of their threes, but what made the difference, Rutgers blocked 8 shots. Illinois didn't get a single shot block, which is a surprise. And they stole the ball 8 times to Illinois, stealing the ball 4 times to Rutgers. Got the quick hands. Illinois fouled a lot more, too. Better free throw shooting with Rutgers. They had a lot of those free point plays. Rutgers benefited from the doubt in this one. Illinois, what is going on with this team? I don't understand. They're starting to really lose it. I am losing faith in this team. I'm not a Fighting Illini fan, but this team is definitely one that was definitely hyped to be a very, very dangerous team. They are not living up to their expectations right now. Xavier beats Marquette in a similar scoring game, 91-88. Xavier outshoots Marquette 59-44% from the three-point line. But Xavier stole the ball 10 times. Marquette only stole it once, so Xavier had the quick hands there. North Carolina State upsets North Carolina today, 79-76. North Carolina State proved to be a tough team. They could definitely appear in the next bracketology. I think they should, as long as North Carolina State stays consistent. And really quickly, here are the new entries on the list: Colorado, Davidson, Belmont, Abilene Christian, Utah State, SMU. Utah State, SMU, questionable with. UMBC, oh my goodness, good old UMBC. They made that upset against West Virginia, of course, 2 years ago. Let's get to the bracket, shall we? Gonzaga, whoever they play against, they're gonna beat anyway. Colorado, LSU, tough one here, but LSU, I trust them a little bit more. If they could score, they just can't play defense really. Colorado has struggled to really gain offense in general overall from what I've seen. Michigan State, Winthrop. Michigan State worries me just a little bit there, of course, with that upset against Northwestern. They've been kind of this year. Texas Tech and Furman. Furman, not really much to offer for me. Texas Tech, though, as I was talking about the three-point shooting, they need to improve on that a bit. They can play good defense. I'm not taking that away from them. Florida State versus the winner of USC, Oklahoma State. I'm going to take Oklahoma State to beat USC and upset Florida State. I don't want to go with this. I know I've been praising Florida State, but Florida State's free throw shooting is a problem, and it's gonna catch up to them if they don't fix it sooner or later. Illinois Liberty. It's almost like I want to take Liberty here, but Illinois I think should be okay here. But Liberty can score. That's my problem. And Illinois' defense isn't all really quite there. Liberty almost beat Missouri, by the way, too, recently. Florida, UConn. I think UConn will pull it out. Florida, not a whole lot to offer for me at the moment. I know they kind of tried to tough it out against Florida State recently. Texas versus Abilene Christian. We're going to go with Texas. Texas is such a strong team. They barely beat Oklahoma State, but their defensive effort is great. Shaka Smart, great coach. The coaching is there. Gonzaga, LSU. We're going to go Gonzaga. Michigan State and Texas Tech. I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Although it's a tough one. That's a real toss-up there. Oklahoma State versus Illinois. I'm going to take Illinois. UConn and Texas. We're going to go with Texas, although this could be a very close one. UConn, good. They can hang in there. I think the toughness of their schedule is going to really bring out a lot in them. Connecticut usually does very well in the tournament, by the way. Gonzaga, Texas Tech would be a rematch to the Elite Eight from last year, which was a very good game. I'm going to go with Gonzaga this time, though. Illinois and Texas. I got to give the edge to Texas. It seems like Texas is just playing better. They're staying more tough. They're staying stronger. Illinois is kind of collapsing little bit by little bit. Definitely worried about that. Gonzaga, Texas, a great Elite Eight game if we get this. I think Gonzaga gets back to the Final Four for the first time since 2017. Moving down to the bracket, the lower left, who will face Gonzaga? Kansas, UMBC. Could you believe if UMBC beats Kansas? Oh my goodness! But we're gonna go with Kansas, although Kansas can be a funny team in the tournament. St. Louis, Louisville. I'm gonna go with St. Louis. St. Louis looks better right now. Louisville's kind of inconsistent. They're kind of all over the place, but of course the injury with Carly Jones is definitely hindering them. Oregon, Loyola, Chicago. I'm going to take Loyola, Chicago. Oregon just hasn't been offering much to me. They beat a terrible Portland team that's not even really all that. Then before that, they only beat San Francisco by 10. San Francisco, since they beat Virginia, they've been kind of in and out there. They had another little quality win there, but Oregon not really all that right now. Michigan, South Dakota State, we're going to go Michigan. UNC, Western Kentucky, North Carolina. This is not a vintage North Carolina team. Western Kentucky has proven they can play good basketball. They beat Alabama. Charles Bassey, physical center. I'm going to go with the upset here. Western Kentucky is going to be a dangerous team come the tournament time, potentially. Houston, Georgia State. Houston's such a great team. They haven't really had a lot of opponents lately, I think. Or they just recently faced Alcorn State, I believe, but their next big test will come in the coming couple of weeks. UCLA, Syracuse. Don't trust UCLA right now. I don't know what's happening with them. Syracuse, not much better, but their zone 2-3 could be a problem. Iowa, Hofstra. We're going to go with Iowa there. Kansas and St. Louis. We're going to go Kansas. Kansas does have a good defense. Marcus Garrett can lock down. He can even score as well when they need to, or when he needs to, I should say. Got Jalen Wilson as well. Loyola Chicago, Michigan. This will be a rematch to Final Four from 2018. We're going to go Michigan. Not Loyola Chicago. We're going to go Michigan. Western Kentucky, Houston could see the upset here, but Houston has such a great overall team. I think Houston would edge out Western Kentucky. Syracuse and Iowa. Believe it or not, Syracuse could beat Iowa here. Here's the thing. It's the zone 2-3. Luka Garza, if he gets separated and you get Jordan Bohannon to go cold from the 3, Syracuse can win this game. It's a tricky one. Iowa's a very good team. Can't take anything away from them. But when you start getting Luka Garza more in control, basically covering him up more, basically just shutting him down more, you know, your possibility of beating Iowa goes up by a bit. But we're going to take Iowa, though. I just don't think Syracuse has the overall advantage here. Iowa's definitely the better team. Kansas, Michigan. Michigan upset Kansas a number of years ago in the Sweet 16. But I think this time around, I think Kansas gets by. I do want to take Michigan, but right now Kansas has played better. Even though I've been a little bit critical of them, it's been one of those seasons are like right now, you know, you're trying to really figure out who's really doing more consistency. It's been hard to do that. There's been so many upsets. Houston and Iowa. I have to take Houston. I know this is not going to be a popular pick, but here's the thing. You got to think about the defensive aspects. Iowa, when they face a good defense, they stumble a bit more from what I've noticed already. You start double-teaming Garza. You get Jordan Bohannon to go cold from 3. He did shoot lights out against North Carolina, but then he just completely didn't do much against Gonzaga. Gonzaga took control from the moment they started. And they out-rebounded Iowa. That was a surprise a little bit. But Gonzaga does have size. Drew Timme, of course, Corey Kispert. They got it, basically. Kansas versus Houston. We're going to go with Houston to the Final Four. I know they're not so popular pick, but here's the thing. Houston, I think, is just underrated. This team is very, very good. Kansas can have some weird moments in the tournament, and it all depends on what happens. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, though. Things will change, of course, with subsequent bracketologies. All right, to the top right now, Baylor over the playing game. They are not going to lose that game. Purdue, Xavier. Purdue, of course, they beat Ohio State recently. They were a little less healthy in that game, but I'm going to take Xavier, though. Xavier beat Marquette. They're playing very good. Missouri, Davidson. Davidson's a sneaky team. They just beat a decent team. Missouri, though, they're on fire. Missouri is suddenly now, or should I say they are our 5th seed now. They look dangerous. They could steal the SEC title from Tennessee. It's going to come down to those two teams. Virginia, Wright State. Virginia, of course, has struggled. They just had a nice one against, of course, a weaker team. But that does not really change my mind about Virginia. Virginia, I just don't know. Virginia is one of those teams where you can't really figure them out. Ohio State versus Oklahoma, BYU. BYU, I think, could beat Oklahoma, but then I think they're going to lose to Ohio State. Ohio State getting healthier. I know I've been critical of Ohio State, but now since they're getting healthier, especially when they get Seth Towns back, they're going to be a problem, potentially. Creighton, Belmont. Creighton plays great offense. Their defense is questionable, but they play good offense. Got to give it to them on that. San Diego State, Virginia Tech. This is a coin flip, but I'm going to go Virginia Tech. Wisconsin, Santa Barbara. We're going to go Wisconsin. Wisconsin, though, Wisconsin I'm not too up on. They only beat Nebraska by 14 earlier tonight, 67-53. slightly alarming a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Baylor Xavier, we're gonna go Baylor in that one. Missouri and Virginia, I got a slight 5-4 upset there with Missouri. Ohio State and Creighton could be a very underrated matchup here if we even get this game in the tournament. I gotta go with Creighton though. Virginia Tech and Wisconsin. I'm gonna pick Virginia Tech to win. Virginia Tech, of course, beat Villanova. They know what upsets take already. They know how to do it. And Wisconsin, I'm not too up on them right now. Virginia Tech, I know they dropped an A against Penn State, but they rebounded. They're going to be a team to watch out for. Baylor, Missouri, great game here. Baylor just plays so much better, or they just play so well. The fluent offense and defense of this team is just unreal. Creighton, Virginia Tech. I'm going to take Creighton to the Elite Eight. That's a ballsy pick because Creighton can lose early as well. Baylor and Creighton, I'm going to go Baylor to the Final Four. So now we have Gonzaga against Houston, and who's Baylor facing? We're going to find out here now. Villanova, St. Peter's, we're going to go Villanova. Richmond, Arkansas. Again, Arkansas has not beaten a good team yet. I'm not picking Arkansas until they beat a good team. We're just going to leave it at that. Richmond beat Vanderbilt recently. Richmond's looking good. I know Vanderbilt's not the greatest team right now, but a win's a win. Duke and Utah State. Duke, of course, Jalen Johnson's injured right now. Duke is definitely going to have a fight in the ACC. I think they could win this game, though, but definitely could be upset alert. Rutgers and New Mexico State. Rutgers looks really, really good. I mean, really, really good. Ron Harper Jr., Geo Baker. This team is for real. They're going to try and compete for that Big Ten title. Watch out for Rutgers. They're looking to make some noise. New Mexico State, though, don't push them over. They've had a history of being close to upsetting teams in the last few years. Indiana and SMU. Like I said about SMU, I don't think they deserve to be even on this bracketology. They haven't beat anyone good yet. IU does look decent this year. Trace Jackson Davis is the leading scorer. I think he's also the leading rebounder. He's doing it all. Indiana would be nothing without Trace Jackson Davis. No questions asked. Tennessee and Toledo, we're going to go Tennessee, although Tennessee is another team that I'm not on yet right now. They barely beat Colorado and Cincinnati. Then they're blowing out these other teams that aren't really much. Tennessee's going to get their first test, bigger test again soon, I believe. I think they face Missouri in the coming days. Clemson and Stanford. I like how Clemson's playing. One of my problems is Clemson does struggle to score just a little bit, but Stanford, it's a toss-up. It could be a really good 7-10 matchup. Stanford's got a decent offense, but I like Clemson there. West Virginia, Colgate. We're going to go West Virginia. Villanova, Richmond. Possible upset here. I know Richmond, like, for instance, Jacob Gilliard, he can really get in your face. He can really sneak up on you and steal the ball. That's one of the big things about Richmond. But Villanova plays really good basketball. But Villanova is one of those teams, too. Like, anyone can lose at any point. It's just the chances are lower with certain teams and seedings and all that jazz. We're going to go Villanova there. Duke and Rutgers. I'm taking Rutgers to the Sweet 16, which would set up a very, very good Sweet 16 game. IU and Tennessee. I'm going to go with the 6-3 upset. Indiana, I think, can make some noise this year. Don't sleep on this team. I've been saying it since the start of the season. Clemson, West Virginia. West Virginia is playing like a possible Final Four team. You gotta love what West Virginia's been doing. This team has been playing great. They have to keep up on scoring. They can go droughts without scoring. Teams that don't score in the tournament are in trouble usually. So that's my one big concern about West Virginia. But this team so far looking really good. Villanova and Rutgers, a very tough game. Rutgers proved to me they can beat anybody. No matter what given time or day it is, they can beat anyone. I really like the upset here. Villanova isn't. If they get Rutgers in a tournament, they don't want to face them. Trust me, this is a dangerous game for Villanova. Villanova is going to have pressure on them because, I mean, I know Colin Gillespie's been in the tournament, but he wasn't a starter when they were in the tournament in 2019, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Guys like him, the pressure is going to be on Villanova if they're a 1 seed. I'm going to take Rutgers in the 4-1 upset. I know people be like, Rutgers, blah, blah, blah. You got to respect the success they've done. They just knocked off Illinois, for God's sakes. They just beat Illinois. I know Illinois is collapsing, but Illinois is still that team that could do it. But like I said, I'm losing faith in them a little bit. We'll just put it that way. IU in West Virginia, IU's run comes to an end. You are facing a tough defense in West Virginia. They don't play around. I've seen them play already. They have a great defense. Oscar Tshiebwe can play physical in the perimeter. Derek Culver can score. This is a well-oiled machine. Rutgers in West Virginia, a heck of a game here in the Elite Eight. I trust West Virginia more in that the defensive end of things, to sending them to the Final Four. All right, Gonzaga versus Houston. If we get this game, this would be unbelievable. Houston, though, my question is, can Houston keep up with Gonzaga's pace? There's only a few teams I think that can keep up with them. I know Gonzaga can play really fast. West Virginia was able to slow them down enough to make it close-ish, but it was still a higher-scoring game. They had the foul trouble, of course. You can even argue the refs screwed them over a little bit. I can understand that. Houston can play fast, too. They got size as well. This would be a physical game, but I have to give it to Gonzaga. Gonzaga just looks like a national contender team. Baylor, West Virginia, a very tough decision here. I'm looking forward to seeing these two play this season because I want to see who can do it better, especially on defense. Is it Baylor or is it West Virginia? Who is better in consistency of scoring? Both teams can have issues with that. Baylor in the tournament they've had issues in the tournament before. West Virginia, same thing. They got to the Sweet 16 2 years in a row after getting knocked out in the first round by Stephen F. Austin. I have to take Baylor, though, to the national championship. West Virginia, though, you can argue, could be a national contender team. Gonzaga and Baylor in the national championship. Gonzaga has been playing so well this year. It's unreal. I'm going to give it to Gonzaga, though, for the national champion. As the national champions, I should say. But thank you guys for watching this video. Next time, I'm going to try and make things a little bit more interesting. Try to send a lower seed to the Final Four. We're going to get more into that. And, of course, later on, probably closer to February, I'm going to start talking about which 16 seed I think is the best one to possibly knock off. It might not even come till March, I don't know. But we'll do some crazy predictions later on just to get an interesting flow and get you guys some ideas for your brackets as well as you're watching along, too. I hope you guys have been enjoying this stuff. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Comment below if you disagree. I don't mind having a great conversation with you guys. I'll see you guys again next Tuesday with another Bracketology video. Also, next Wednesday, I will be doing a ranking of the top 15 most intense tornadoes of 2020. So that's a video you don't want to miss. That's coming next Wednesday, right before the new year ends, or right before this year ends. So I'll see you guys again later. Take care, everyone.